What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's a pleasure to be here. Unfortunately, I am not that excited to talk about this because I was very disappointed going into the theater seeing this movie, especially considering how the first installment of this movie back in 2008 was such a good movie. The Strangers Chapter 1 was not good to me at all. It made you feel so uncomfortable and it made you feel eerie like throughout the whole movie. I'm sorry, I was not feeling it. From the acting, to the way how it was shot, to the storyline, to the decisions that people made in this movie. The Strangers Chapter 1 was directed by Rennie Harland, and it was written by Alan R. Cohen and Alan Freeland. And as I was sitting there, I didn't remember a lot about the first movie, but I remembered certain things that happened. Like, I don't remember exactly, frame for frame, word for word what happened. I remembered certain things vividly, and it's because it was so eerie to me, and I was shook for weeks after watching it. Just not like, terrified to go anywhere, but I just felt weird. Such a scary concept because it can happen anywhere.
Why are you doing this to us? Because you're here.
Yeah, this was not good, man. I wasn't feeling it. We were sitting there like, what are we watching? Like, Madeline Petch and Froy Gutierrez spearheaded this movie as Maya and Ryan. And as I said, the acting was just not there. I didn't feel like they were actually petrified of what was going on. Sometimes the way how the couple acted with each other, I was like, what? If this happened to my significant other, you best believe I would be reacting way better than this. There were times in the movie where the reactions to certain things that were happening were just way under par. And I'm sitting there like, what, my guy, what are we doing here? What is actually happening? Because I don't understand how you could be in such a detrimental situation and then just look at your partner like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That was one of the many things that didn't make any sense. Another thing was just the fact that there were so many things that were too exact to what the previous Strangers movie, which the first one in 2008, which Anthony and I were talking about, and he enlightened me on some other things. It's just like, it's crazy that they just didn't go in a different direction with this or just do their own thing. And there's supposed to be 2 more movies after this. I'm not really sure if I'm invested. I take that back. I'm not invested in what's to come with this, but of course I'm gonna watch it, but I just really didn't see the vision here. Now I really have to question, when the writing came into play, what was the topic? Like, what was the actual conversation that went into writing this film? Because again, it just parrots back to the first one. It just basically is the same thing, just done way worse. I just didn't really get invested at all at any point in time with this movie, and very rarely do I fall asleep during movies. Very rarely do I have trouble paying attention or whatever, just because I really love media and I love art. There were a lot of times through this movie that I was nodding and I found myself, and I had to like jerk myself a little bit to be like, oh geez, I have to wake up, because I was genuinely falling asleep. And it was during some of the tense moments, which, I'm sorry, nothing about this movie was really tense for me. It was just the typical horror movie tropes, the typical thing that you see. You go in a room, you look around the room a few minutes or a few seconds, and then you see in the corner that there's somebody standing there. You go outside and you're like, oh, what was that noise? And then you go out there and then you see that whatever might be inside looking at the person, or that might be outside looking at the person when the person looks in a different direction. It just wasn't great, man. It just really wasn't great, and I'm very shocked because I was looking forward to this. When I saw that this was coming out, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're gonna get a reboot. So I'm assuming that this is gonna make me creeped out, just like how the first one did, because it was just, that movie, the way how they did that was so creepy, and it was perfect. It was just done perfectly. I really struggled with this, man. I don't understand how you have such a good concept and a movie that came before it, or 2 movies that came before it. Yeah, the movie that comes before it. And speaking of that, I haven't actually even seen the second Strangers movie, which I heard was bad, but I heard is better than this. If many people are saying that Strangers 2 is bad, but it's better than this, what does that tell you about this movie? That's just crazy, man. I could not fathom the fact that we were just sitting there like, what is happening? What went into the decision making with these characters? That's one other thing that I really just bothered me about this movie. What went into the decision making a lot of times with these characters will forever be a mystery to me, because a lot of times when we were watching the movie, I was just like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, what? Why are we doing this? And it's not even just like the whole like, oh, it's part of the movie, it's part of the story. The actor and the actress that played the couple in the movie, they just made the dumbest decisions. It wasn't even like your typical like, oh, good horror movie decisions. No, these were just plain stupid. Anthony and I in the car ride home were saying that even the worst Freddy and Jason movies are more entertaining than this, and that is a fact. That is a firm and tentative fact, because I had a lot more fun with the Jason movies than I did with this movie. I didn't have any fun. I didn't have any fun at all watching this. I wasn't scared at all watching this. I was falling asleep. I mean, if somebody came at me with a hack and slash machete during the movie, they would have won. They would have got me, because I was just so out of it. I was like, okay, well, whatever. I was trying to think of where I've seen Madeleine Petsch before, and I didn't realize she's in Riverdale, and Froy Gutierrez is in Teen Wolf. I've never seen him before either, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I really don't have much for you on this. It really wasn't that great. And I do my best to try and find both positives and negatives in movies, just to kind of balance them out, especially things that I'm more of a fan of. And in the past few years, I've become a much bigger horror fan than I was before. I wouldn't even watch a preview of a horror movie years and years ago, let alone actually sit through and watch a horror movie. But then there's been times where friends and I have sit down and have like horror movie marathons, and we sit there and we pick characters and see who lasts until the end. And that's actually where I watched the first Strangers movie, was with a group of friends like that, and another time with another group of friends of mine, and again I was creeped out so much. So to be this disappointed with this movie that is essentially the same movie, just 10 times worse, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. I just hope that with the next 2 installments that they take it up a notch, or they bring in some different writers, or they adjust the writing, or they do something. They make some big adjustments, because what the hell happened here? Well, thank you guys for stopping by and watching this review. If you stuck through the whole thing, I really do appreciate it. If you all who are watching this, if you've seen the movie and you actually really like it, and you found something about it that made it good for you, and maybe you can enlighten me, because I did not see any enlightenment anywhere. I didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't see any roses in the basket case. I didn't see anything. It was just not good to me, man. I'm sorry. So if you have watched this movie and you watched this review and you found something, like I said, please comment down below. Let me know. Let's discuss, because maybe I can see it from a different point of view. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you can get a notification anytime there's a new video. Thanks again for watching, guys. Until the next one.